little touch here of a bookshelf, my faux bookshelf. I don't even know what books are on the shelf. If anybody wants to take a peek and let me know, it looks like they all have fake names on top of everything else. So cool. Um, Here's what I wanted. I'm doing. Here we go. I tell you, these things always revolve around what I've been doing over the last week. A lot of front desk sales work. Just returned from Rise Physical Therapy in Northwest Arkansas, up in Fayetteville, multiple locations and growing outside of Fayetteville. And so, doing a lot of talk with their team, with their front desk team, with their whole team. Was on a couple other calls this week of people who saw I was in clinics who's asking me to come out. Also did some follow-up calls with the front desk team at Rise Physical Therapy. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to put together next couple of weeks. I'm going to talk about front desk sales. I'm going to talk about some of my biggest takeaways, and the biggest takeaway being the things that keep getting repeated over and over and over again, no matter where I go. By the way, whether I'm in Arkansas, I'm working with teams right now in New York, in Brooklyn. I'm talking to some other teams downtown New York, Manhattan, and I'm also working with teams in Northwest Arkansas. So I'm going to tell you these messages are consistent. And what I want to share with you is these consistent things that you got to consider implementing into your business right now, right? And things you need to think about for your front desk. Today, I'm just going to take away. I broke down, so I get together with about 7 of the team members, 8 of the team members at Rise Physical Therapy every couple of weeks. Today, I had them go through their calls and break down the calls and what I took away from the things they say, what went well, what didn't go well. Did the call, was a process followed? Here's my number one takeaway today, and this is the thing I want you taking away from this conversation today regarding your front desk team: the power of acknowledgement. And acknowledgement needs to happen throughout a whole phone call. And acknowledgement is things like, I hear you, repeating back. So, Jerry, you mentioned you have low back pain. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. Well, I'm glad you called us here at Rise Physical Therapy. We help a lot of people with low back pain. So I'm acknowledging it's Jerry saying, hi, my name's Jerry. I want to get scheduled for physical therapy. I have low back pain. Well, hello, Jerry. In case you missed it, my name's Bill, right? I'm sorry to hear you have low back pain, but a lot of patients here at Rise have low back pain, and we help a lot of those patients. I know you mentioned you wanted to get scheduled, and so just so you know, going forward in this call, I will be the one getting you scheduled. So I repeated back Jerry's name, I repeated back the low back pain, and I told him, he said he wanted to get scheduled, that I'll be the one scheduling him. I cannot impress upon you all how important this is in the first 30 seconds. I listen to calls every day, all week long. 3-minute calls, 12-minute calls, 15-minute calls, everything in between. The calls are lost or won, and I'm going to say won, in that first 30 minutes to a minute. And the structure is built around that acknowledgement. The power of acknowledgement and the feedback from 8 separate people about what went good with their calls or didn't all came down to how was this person acknowledged? How were there? Because acknowledgement, as you also heard, acknowledgement serves as a way to set expectations, right? And any of you who know me know that managing and setting expectations on these phone calls are probably going to be just something I discuss next week. Now that I just gave you that topic. So acknowledgement serves for me to tell that person on the other end of the phone within the first 30 seconds that this call is all about you. You called the right place and you're talking to the right person. Call healthcare and tell me if you know any of those 3 things within the first 30 seconds. You're not. 80% of the time, you have no fucking idea, if you even get a live person. So this live person says, hey, you called the right place. I'm here to help you, right? And we're going to have a conversation about you. When we then use this acknowledgement, like I said, I'm also setting an expectation. I'm telling you, we help people with low back pain. So you're like, I called the right place. So I'm decreasing your fear, doubt, and uncertainty with this acknowledgement. Acknowledgement can then be woven through the rest of the conversation to continue to assure someone that, again, you're listening and you're taking them in the right direction. The other thing that happens with acknowledgement at the front end, you have a busy front desk team. They answer new patient calls. They're dealing with people in front of them. Well, some of the feedback I've gotten over the years is this acknowledgement allows a person to pick up the phone. All they're doing is repeating back what they heard, but they're saying it. So they immediately have in their head what they need to do next. And they've also taken control of the conversation and put themselves in the moment to better manage this call. Because remember, they may have had someone else in front of them. They may have been dealing with a billing issue. They may have been scheduling someone. So through this acknowledgement, I'm telling the person on the other end of the phone, you've called the right place and this call is going to be about you. And if I do it properly, I've also set myself up for success by putting myself in the moment, prepared to ask better questions and to listen. Two insanely important steps in a successful front desk sales call. So acknowledgement is way more than just saying someone's name, because you get that all the time. You got to say their name. I'm like, why? Because it's important. Why? Right? Well, one thing is nobody else is doing it in healthcare. And when you do that, on top of all these other things, you're telling the person on the other end of the phone, the other end of the email, whatever it is, by the way, the other end of the text, that they are important to you. Hey, Jerry, in case you missed it, my name's Bill. Sorry to hear you have low back pain, but you called the right place. Here at Rise Physical Therapy, we help a lot of people with low back pain. Lastly, you said you want to get scheduled. I will be the person taking you forward in this conversation. And if it is appropriate for you to get scheduled, then I'm going to be the one helping you with that. So, Jerry, here's what I'd like to do next. So the flow is perfect. I've set myself up. I said the name back, so I'm more likely to remember the name. You guys don't know how often I'm asked for my name, at least twice, if not more times, on secret callers. I also know you have low back pain, and that's a conversation starter. And I also know you want to get scheduled, right? So again, great way to start a conversation for all those reasons I said. It's good for the person on the other end of the phone, and it's good for you. And I promise you that acknowledgement is going to decrease the downstream chaos. And that downstream chaos in that phone call is someone taking over control. Someone then going, do you take my insurance? And by the way, if someone calls and says, do you take my insurance? You say, Jerry, I'm more than happy to answer that question for you. That's the first thing you say. What you say next is the way you maintain in control. But I just want you to hear the acknowledgement part. I'm more than happy to help you with your insurance. If you do that, the person, again, this person gets me, right? I hear all these strategies, talk over it, talk through it, redirect. No, acknowledge it right off the bat. Hi, my name's Jerry. I'm wondering if you take my insurance. Well, hello, Jerry. Thank you for calling it and us here at Rise PT. If you missed it, my name's Bill. Regarding your insurance, we take a lot of insurance here at Rise Physical Therapy, and I'm happy to help you figure your insurance out. Again, I don't want to go into what I say next because this isn't about that. It's just about how to start this call. But if someone calls and says, hi, my name's Jerry, do you take my insurance? Hey, Jerry, can we talk about what you need from us first? It's not going to work. Not going to work. You guys hear the difference in that. So the number one, and by the way, this acknowledgement is part of my 5-step sales process, right? And I've been teaching it forever. And I realized today, again, when I was working with a group, is damn, all these calls come back to either poor acknowledgement on the front end or good acknowledgement on the front end. The calls that went really well, there was acknowledgement and structure was set for that phone call. And the other ones where the acknowledgement didn't really happen, and per the people I was talking with, they said they lost control of the call. They just let the person take off, right? So there was no acknowledgement. It was like, hi, my name's Jerry. I have low back pain. I want to get scheduled for physical therapy. And then it was like, okay, Jerry, I can help you. And then it was like, boom, the person just ran off on some other tangent. But I can help you is not acknowledgement, right? So cool. The power of acknowledgement, my friends, it's huge and it's significant. And implement that at the beginning of all your calls. Just repeat back what you heard. So much good comes out of it through the phone, and so much good comes out of it for you. Thanks all. Appreciate it. And we'll continue this conversation next week, because what comes next after acknowledgement is start to, setting up expectations and allowing people to lead the conversation in the direction they want to go, but you're prepared and you're asking them which way they want to go. So check this out. We're going to talk about permission-based questions next week. Okay? And that follows acknowledgement almost perfectly. Every time you acknowledge, you usually want to follow up with a permission-based question. But if you just start with the acknowledgement, you're going to be way better off. Cheers, all.